Hey guys, I just wanted to show the way that I do my 10-gallon conversions, because I do it in a way that's pretty cheap and pretty easy if you've got a few simple tools, but also uh, I do it where it doesn't have any hinges on the door. So I'm going to start with just a $10 Petco tank, 10-gallon tank, and I already siliconed around in the bottom to make sure we had a good seal. And I've got a piece of glass. I cut this down to about 2 1/4 by the width of the tank, which is 9 3/4, and we'll go ahead and silicone this in. Just kind of rub the bead along the inside, make sure you get a nice good watertight seal all the way around. So the next thing I've got is a screen like you get from Home Depot or somewhere, and you can cut these down and fit them however you want. I'm going to silicone that in as well, and I'm going to put a little bit of silicone along the glass. Put a little bead right here. Okay, and then the next thing I've got is some little aluminum channel like this, and I cut it down to the width of the tank. This will be the top piece. The bottom piece, to make a removable door, has to be, quite a bit shorter, and I cut that down as well. And I'm going to go ahead and silicone that on. And then the other one on the top. Okay, now that stuff shouldn't even need any clamps or fully cure. While we go ahead and tip the tank up, we're going to drill some holes in the glass on the top for some more vents. I always used to be afraid of drilling glass. I watched a couple of videos and kind of saw how guys do it. And I bought a cheap set of hole saw, diamond tipped hole saw bits off of eBay for, I think there's 15 different sizes in here for just under 10 bucks. So that's what we're going to use. I've got some, I'm using butyl rubber. You can use clay, or anything to just make a little dam here that'll hold some water, because you need to keep water on the bit and keep it cool while you're running it, or you'll definitely tear your bit up. I figure these bits probably aren't going to last as good as some $30 diamond coated hole saw bit, but if I get 10 or 12 holes out of a bit, then it's doing pretty good. What you want to do is get your drill set onto slow speed and Kind of start at an angle so that you get a little bit of a groove going, and then as you get a groove in it, because it's kind of rough getting it started, but after you get the groove, you can start tilting it up straight, and you don't want to put any pressure on the drill. You just let the weight of the drill be the pressure. And actually, I forgot, if you put a little tape under the hole, that'll keep your cut out piece of glass from falling down inside of there, and keep a lot of your glass chips and that nasty water from falling down inside your tank. So let me do that real quick before I get all the way through. On this thin glass for these 10-gallon tanks, it really only takes a couple of minutes. You're seeing this in real time, not sped up or anything. You know, they go relatively fast. I'm sure with thicker glass, I haven't tried it yet, but it'd probably take a little more time. Again, like I said, you want to keep just the weight of the drill as your pressure. And there's one hole. I went ahead and drilled the other hole off frame and kind of wiped up the glass a little bit. So these are some top vents that I came up with. What this is just a piece of 1.5 inch PVC with a PVC fitting or coupling that I cut down to this small size, and before I put them together, I laid a piece of screen over that, and that 1.5 inch PVC fits right into that 50 millimeter hole. Pretty, not snug, but pretty good. So I'm just going to put a little dab of silicone on this, and then lay them in there. The purpose for these tanks, like the way I do them like this, is I've morning geckos, and they escape from nearly every single type of tank I've tried to put them in, whether it's, you know, fish tanks converted to be, you know, horizontal like they normally are, or exoterras. You know, you have to do quite a bit of proofing to get them, you know, to not escape. These should be gecko escape proof and fruit fly escape proof. So I also use them for juvenile dart frogs, you know, after they spend a few weeks or a month in a little small, like 2.5 gallon grow out. You know, I might move them into a tank like this until they're, you know, ready for a big tank or something like that. But there's our two vents. So now what you have to do here for your door is, and I usually do this because, you know, my cuts all, you know, this never winds up exactly the same. So I make this up, and then I measure and order a piece of glass, and I order that glass. I don't cut myself. I order it from a little local glass shop, and they'll cut it to the exact size. I use 1/8 inch. This was some of the like 3/16 or whatever it is, 3/32 Lowe's glass. It's a little thinner than I like, but just for the small piece that we're not going to be moving around, I thought it was okay, and I had it laying around. But when I measure this, I kind of go up and down and check. I want the piece of glass to be able to go into this track all the way up, and then pull over top of this track and slide down without falling into this track. And right here, I've got a piece of polycarbonate that I had laying around. It's just a dirty, scratched up piece that I wasn't using for anything. I cut it just to make sure that my dimensions were good and that it fits. And so it slides up in the top and then comes back down. Now, once that's glass, it won't bow. You know, this won't be escape proof for geckos. They'll get right out of there. But I'm just going to leave that on there for now. But so when I go to mist the tank or feed, you know, I got these little handles that are just these little clear hooks that I get from, you know, Home Depot or Lowe's, and you just pop that, and then you can set your piece of glass either next to the tank or somewhere, you know, where you're not going to break it while you do what you have to do in the tank, and then it's right back on there. And of the tanks I've built like this, they all have glass here, but they had acrylic down here, and they were built without these tracks, so I kind of homemade some tracks. I didn't like the way they looked, and some of those acrylic pieces that I made are that you don't get a long-term seal with acrylic with silicone, so some of those are starting to come apart where I siliconed them, so I'm gonna have to redo those. So that's kind of what this one is, the first one, and then I'll redo as I move some animals. I'll redo the next one and then the next one. And this one's not going to get a standard substrate and drainage layer like you normally see. That's why I made this a little bit shorter on this one. So maybe I'll make a video when I do the background and the substrate and you know, see what you think of that, because it's like I said, it's not the standard for you know, tropical Vivaria. But anyways, thanks for watching, and that's it for now. And like I said, maybe I'll make another one, maybe not, I don't know.